I see all too many people online say that the Yakuza or Like a Dragon series is a purely serious or a purely silly game franchise, because any of us who've actually played it will know that it's a mix of both. Its dramatic storytelling that's always accompanied by its sense of humor is what makes these games so enjoyable, or at least that's one of the many parts of it. Because another enjoyable factor of these games that I've been thinking about more and more as the year ends is that no matter what happens in the story or the gameplay, the series is above all one of the happier games I've played. You wouldn't expect that from a series grounded in realistic settings that covers such harsh topics, but the characters, the stories, and definitely the gameplay will always leave you with a big smile on your face. So because the Yakuza games tend to always be set around Christmas, and because I always like to make a video on Christmas Day for people like me who are doing bugger all, either all day or just at the end of it, and because those Christmas videos do terribly because, well, most people are doing Christmas things, I thought I'd just make a simple little video about how much happiness exists within the stories of these games. To start us off, one of the biggest themes of every Yakuza game are the bonds that the characters share. Friends, family, even enemies. Even someone as reserved and, quite frankly, antisocial as Kiryu has made so many friends throughout all of his journey, and I suppose he's made just as many enemies, but those connections to the people throughout the years has made him who he is. I think the biggest example of this is the kids of the orphanage from Yakuza 3. After he entered dad mode, he grew to become more aware of the people around him, and in turn became a much happier person. Knowing that there are people that smile when they see him was enough to make him smile back. Although the importance of family to Kiryu has obviously been important to him since Yakuza 1, one thing he does tend to forget are his friends, which is a big part of the whole bucket list thing in Infinite Wealth. He forgets that feeling you get when someone makes you smile, and so he sets out to remind himself of the good things in his life, like his friends, by reminiscing on past events or playing baseball or throwing people halfway across the planet. But of course I can't mention friendship and not bring up Ichiban. I mean, his whole shtick is that everyone is friends with him. Even Sawashiro, who'd rather watch Ichiban get stabbed a million times, preferably by doing it himself, ends up forming a strong bond with him. And again, those bonds are what make Ichiban Ichiban. These two show us that when there are people you hold dear, keep them close. Whether you've only got a tight-knit group or you're friends with practically everyone, these games do a great job at showing why it's nice to have people you can trust. But the games also show us the fragility of life. They show how easy it is for us to lose someone we care for, and how hard it might be for the living to continue living. I mean, sort of. Really in the earlier Yakuza games, character dies and then frame one in the sequel, that character's forgotten, like, dude, go check on the Ryudo family, man. But Infinite Wealth does a good job at showing that no one truly dies until they're forgotten, and Ichiban makes it a point to never forget those he loves. And thanks to the bucket list stuff, Kiryu does too. He recognizes that maybe there are people who are gone, either in the sense that they've passed or that they've buggered off to America, who are still worth keeping close to your heart. Those happy memories should never be forgotten, and to those who are still around, well, tell them how much you care about them, how important they are to you. Yeah, of course, there's always the chance that this can ruin the friendship, so perhaps don't overdo it like Ichiban, but it's better to let them know than to not let them know at all, because you never know when you might lose them. But in some cases, we lose a friend for reasons we can't explain. I'm sure we've all had a friend who just one day decided they didn't want anything to do with you. There was no reason, there weren't any factors in their decision, and no matter how much you think on it, you just can't quite understand it. And when you get someone so willing to drop everything, to suddenly act like they never knew you and cut all ties for no reason, personally, I think they can get completely fucked, but the games like to show that there's no shame in trying to do the right thing. Sure, some of Kiryu's friends might think that he's abandoned them because he sure as shit doesn't do a good job at pretending to be dead, but thanks to the help of Kiryu's good friend Date, he's able to hold on to those bonds. And it's thanks to all of this, thanks to his friends and family, thanks to those harsh lessons of loss, and thanks to constant reminders that he's being a bit of a silly goose, that Kiryu is able to understand the importance of his own life. We know from years and years of hardship and loss that he's about ready at any time to just kick the bucket. But his story in Infinite Wealth shows that sometimes you need to be a little selfish in order to be a bit more selfless. By focusing on himself first and what makes him happy before he worries about other people, he's able to form stronger bonds with his friends and fulfill their needs too. After all, you can't exactly fix a car with shit tools, can you? And so by being in a better place, by reminiscing on times long gone, of reuniting with old friends, of literally just hanging around Ichiban and seeing his infectious attitude, Kiryu knows that if he dies, everything will have been for nothing. Life, no matter how shit it may seem, is a lot better than being dead. And dying means nothing to the dead, because they're dead, but those that have to continue living are the ones who suffer the consequences. He struggles to fathom a world where he brings so many smiles to so many people and yet it's reality. Even his worst enemies have had their own lives improved just a little bit by Kiryu's actions, and he experienced a rare opportunity to see what the lives of the people he's made an impact on are like without him. All of these things, friendship, love, caring for others, caring for yourself, they make us happy, and seeing them so prominently presented in the Yakuza games is the sort of thing that I know will make a lot of other people happy too. The games may not necessarily be a lesson in these things, but it at least shows the value in them, in being happy and being a good person and wanting to live. Like I said at the start, today's Christmas, but I know today means a different thing to every different person. Maybe today is some other holiday, maybe you're celebrating the end of the year, maybe you're celebrating getting time off work, or maybe you even bloody hate the day. Some people may be spending today with family, others with friends, co-workers, or a significant other. Of course, I won't be doing that last one because, as all my friends like to say, I'm Mr. Bitchless. I wish they wouldn't call me that, but regardless, the time of year shouldn't correlate with when you have to feel obligated to be nice to people. So not just on this day, but whenever you like really, tell your friends and family how much they mean to you. Tell them that you'd add them to your party if you were in a turn-based RPG, and reflect on the things that make you happy, the things you do or perhaps even don't do that make others happy. Don't Kiryu yourself into thinking you can't say these things to others and that you can't think positively of yourself, because you never know what tomorrow brings. No matter how bleak everything may seem, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and once you reach that light, you'll see it's really freaking bright. Outside the tunnel's awesome, they got a fucking copy of Lost Judgment up in this bitch. What's not to love about this light we call life? And having people that can make you happy, and having people who you make happy, make that journey through the tunnel just a little brighter. And you know what? Why don't you go tell all your friends and family members to play a little game called Final Fantasy 16!